Hello everyone, welcome to the Boleyn Lounge, another Tuesday talk show. I've got Mick back with me after a couple of weeks off. Thanks for joining me, Mick. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, buddy. Thank you for having me again.
No worries, you're welcome. And I'm pleased to welcome back to the Boleyn Lounge Tony from Early Doors Football TV. Thanks for joining us, Tony. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, mate. It feels like it's been like a year since I've been here. So it's glad to be back, mate. Glad to be back.
Nice to see you, Tony. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Mick.
Yeah, no, it's really good to have you. And hello to everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
We might have a sensible chat tonight if Tony's in.
I'm sure we will. And well, we better get on about the game on Saturday, such as it was. Pretty drab affair, wasn't it? I mean, I don't think going through the highlights is going to take too long. Somerville makes a good block tackle to prevent a goal. Bit unlucky not to score by hitting the post. Not a lot in between either of those moments until Danny Ings forces a couple of saves out of Pickford. And the one at the end was a especially good save. I thought it was a really good save. Could have nicked the game there. But other than that, I don't know if you guys...
Bowen had a couple of good chances.
Yeah, we created very little, did we? I just thought we looked like the two worst teams in the league. A couple of weeks ago, I thought us and Man United looked like two mid-table teams that basically didn't have much of an idea, that handed over possession to one another. And this week, I thought we looked like the two worst teams in the league. I think it's the worst game of Premier League football I've seen for a while. Both teams are culpable for that. If they had any ambition, I think they would have done us, wouldn't they?
If they had any ambition, they wouldn't have Sean Dyche as a manager. So,
I think if you look at it, I mean, Everton, yeah, they're the opportunities. But I said earlier, I think Pickford was man of the match for them because how much he saved.
Mm-hmm.
Even usual, kept him in it basically. If it weren't for him, then the scoreline could have been different. The only kind of sad thing about it was Somerville taking a knock.
Yeah, it's only a knock, surely. Yeah.
Well, I suppose we're lucky, Mick, because obviously we've got the international break now, so we're not exactly going to lose him.
He's got 2 weeks to get over.
Yeah. He's a young lad. He can take it. Can't all be made of marshmallow, can they?
I will come to everyone in the chat, so please put your comments in and I'll get through them. I'll just catch up. And so, yeah, Somerville had a decent game, probably our man of the match. Bowen done some bits, worked as hard as he could. Paqueta probably had a better game than he's had for a little while. Kilman was pretty solid. What did everyone think of the substitutions? Wan-Bissaka looked pretty disappointed to come off. What did you think of that, Tony?
Yeah, I couldn't make that one out myself. I don't know, was it a tactical thing? Did we see something that that they saw? Because I thought it was a weird one.
What was?
He was definitely disappointed coming off.
Who's this?
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka. Yeah.
I don't think he had his best game, actually. I think the whole team, we looked like we did everything at 2/3 pace.
We're playing like that all season. We don't look fit.
Yeah. And I thought he looked half a yard off at times. I don't think he actually is half a yard off. I just think he looked a little bit hard for a yard off. And I think all of them did a little bit at times.
Well, that's hesitation for not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. I mean, when their substitutions came on, although Kufal for Wan-Bissaka might have seemed a bit odd, although Wan-Bissaka, like I said, I don't think he was great. Rodriguez looked really disappointed to come off. He's another one. I don't think he did very much wrong, but he wasn't really influencing the game in any way, was he? Antonio finished by the time he's changed, isn't he? He needs to come off. By the way, Soler coming on, I'm not sure he seemed to do an awful lot either, but collectively, I do think for the last 20 minutes, we were the best we were for the best of a bad bunch for the game.
Probably the best way to sum it up, I think, Jeff. Yeah. It's not exciting football at all at the moment, is it? That's for sure.
Yeah. To be fair, like I haven't seen a great deal the last couple of weeks, but I managed to pick up the bits I can. But I don't think the team looks sharp. I don't know. It'd be hard to say they're not fit because professional footballers they should be, but they don't look sharp. I think they look hesitant in everything they do.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Is are we supposed to do in this? Football's not complicated, but I think he might be one of these managers that's overcomplicating what he's got. But the strangest thing for me in the last few weeks was that he stumbled on Alvarez going centre half, and we played Man United, and then we took control of that game in second half. Although wouldn't say we were world beaters, but we took control of that game second half, I thought. And then, you think, well, you had the three with Alvarez there. They look quite solid, and everyone looked comfortable. And then he changes it the following week. It's like sometimes a manager you've got to be lucky. Sometimes an injury or whatever, you think, oh, I've got to put him on there. I think, well, fuck me, he played well. Yeah, I'll give that a go next week. Yeah, but he doesn't seem to. Alvarez, for whatever reason, is struggling this year, and I didn't think he struggled last year. Moyes kept saying he can't play 90 minutes, but whenever he was on the pitch for us, I thought he'd done really, really well last year. So I'm not really sure how he's come to be the clown that he's been made out to be, because I don't think he is. So I think it's, I've been defending Loppy the last few weeks. They've given him time, but I'm kind of running out of patience myself now.
Yeah.
I think
go on, Tony. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, for me, it just seems, I don't know, Lopetegui is not getting the best out of these players. He's whatever he's doing, it seems to be rubbing up people. I mean, it's rubbing up fans the wrong way, but he seems to be doing it to the players because, as you said, this formation changing week in, week out. For yourself, Mick, you need consistency. If you haven't got that, then you can't develop anything from that. Because 1 minute. And the worst part about it is, you get a convincing result against Ipswich. We changed that. Okay, we were lucky with Man United. We changed it again, and then we change it again for this game. And you can't survive on win, loss, draw. Not good at all.
Yeah, you could probably stay in the league, but you're playing every game under pressure.
Yeah. I have to say I'm sort of in the same boat as Mick. I've tried to be patient. I'm thinking, okay, it's a new manager. He's trying to implement a new system. We've brought a lot of new players into the team and into the squad. Try and have a bit of patience about it. Everything's not going to work overnight, but we are progressively getting worse, and we seem to be getting more disorganised. And that is, a real concern. And going back to Saturday, I said, I was on with Budgie on Saturday morning, and I was speaking. I said, I think we'll win with a scrappy Souček goal. Souček never got anywhere near the opposition box, right, for most of the game to get his scrappy goal. The game was primed for Souček to be getting into the box, and he kept him deep. And another sign of the disorganisation for me was at one point, this is just a small thing, but it just underlines how there is such a lack of cohesion in the team. Wan-Bissaka has got no one in 30 yards of him, and we're going to deliver the ball into the box. And in fairness to him, he's looking around going, I'm taking this then, am I? Right?
Jesus.
And then finally, Somerville jogs over from the other side of the pitch to deliver the ball in. What the hell are we doing? I've got no organisation over a dead ball situation. Never mind when the ball's in motion. it is really, really worrying now. And there's less and less reasons to try and offer defence for why we should give him longer. When we've tried to say on this channel, when there's been speculation about the manager and changing the manager, okay, but what comes next? Do we have trust in? I mean, I'm starting to lean towards. I'm not sure whoever they brought in could actually do a worse job unless we see some progression really, really quickly. It's going down the pan fast, and it's not likely to come in the next 2 games, is it?
No way. And I think, as you said, that progression. Well, we are progressing, but the opposite way.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing about it. I mean, and players don't become bad overnight, but it comes down to what the manager does, his tactics, the style of what he wants them to do. And as you said, playing people out of position, it's not helping. Like I said, Suchek, why play him so deep when you know he's going to nick you a goal 89th, 92 minutes, he'll nick you a goal. But you're playing him deep all the time.
Largely ineffective in large parts of the game, but where the bits where he is effective is in both the boxes, really.
Yeah, it's true.
Get him in there, right? Let him do his thing. Anyway, I better catch up with some of these comments.
Yes.
Flawless is in. Good evening, Flawless. He says he's really starting to get pissed off now. He fears we are sleepwalking ourselves into the championships thanks to the fans and Sullivan. I don't think we'll get relegated as poor as we are, because I do think there's teams that are worse than us. But I think if we're not careful, we're going to find ourselves in a scrap. And then, then do the players have the character? It's going to come down to character. Have we got enough character and backbone in that dressing room then?
Yeah, I agree on that.
And for all I said, he sat near the dugout and was swearing at Floppategi.
Good on him.
Evening, Colin, and evening, Russ. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Colin.
Just snip through some of these. Just said
So
good evening to everyone.
I've shared the channel, Jeff. So you're going to get a few people in my lot giving comments.
Oh yeah, okay, lovely. Mama Floss is in. Evening, Mama. Thanks for joining us.
Mama. Oh yeah.
Let's see what you're saying. Paper Talk saying Kudus off to Arsenal for 83 million.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I haven't actually seen that, but I did see a story a few days ago about him going for 90 million.
Yeah, well, the release clause is 85, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the figure is being banded around is 90. Big up, Paddy.
Evening, Paddy.
Yeah, for about 90 million. But Arsenal can't really afford that, because obviously they're close to the wire as it is with what they've spent.
Yeah, and Colin's saying, gents, what he's heard today is that Sullivan wants control back on the transfers. That tells me everything. Sullivan is a control freak. I did see a bit about that.
Well, you have to say there, in fairness, yeah, he obviously had his rows with Moisey, and then he brought in Steadden. Yeah, Steadden didn't get on with Moisey, obviously. Yeah, and it appears that his relationship is also fractious with Loppy. Yeah. So, and now there's talks of him. Who left somewhere? Oh, I was talking about Steadden going to Arsenal.
Yeah. As well.
Yeah, so it's all paper talk on, same as usual. But I'm not so sure. When you look at some of the players we have brought in, whether they're not playing well because Loppy isn't getting out to it, or are they good enough? Yeah, and they're all sanctioned by Stetson. I can never say his name, Stetson or whatever. Yeah, but I'm not so sure that's working either, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the German centre forward there at 27.5 million, that probably never kick a ball for us, with a long injury. No, but he came knowing that he's got a long history of getting injured, Paul Kirk. Yeah, I'm not convinced that he's the big answer. You know, what is his qualifications to say who to buy other than money? You know, what we get back, what we spend. Is he a good bookkeeper, or does he have a great knowledge of football and how teams work? I'm not so sure.
I think he comes from a scouting background, doesn't he?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, what's his knowledge of football? Because some of the dross that he's in so far, yeah. And I said it to you when we were talking on the phone and that. Let's see what these players do. You can buy who you want. Let's see what they do when they get in the Premier League. This is before a ball was kicked, Jeff, and we're having like chats on the phone at weekend and whatever. Yeah, it looked like a great market, and everyone was like upbeat. But if we're being honest, how many of them players have we really heard of that like set you like getting all excited? I wasn't.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Mick, but I think it comes down again. It's like the manager. You expect when you think he came in, everyone was kind of reserved. Lopetegui, we know his history, his background. Okay, we've got to give him a chance. We've got no choice. He's been brought in, and can he get a song out of these players? I think if any other manager that came in that's got a bit more integrity, then I think they will get something out of these players. But with him, because of what he's doing at the moment. Because I always say it before, the Kudos situation at the Spurs game, for me, that was just pure frustration because I think he's had enough of him.
He's
I think there's a few of us.
He could get into any of the teams in the Premier League, any team, Kudos. Yeah, he's a special talent. But again, as you say, he doesn't get anything out of him. I don't know. It's got to be crunch time surely soon.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw again the rumor talk again. By all accounts, and even Jim White on Talk Shite has kind of said it that it seems that this bloke's probably going to get a buy for a little bit longer.
It was on there about their 6 million to get rid of him. They go down, it costs them a whole lot more than 6 million.
Yeah, pay him 6 million. Ta-da, see you later, done.
Yeah. I don't know. The West Ham are not exciting me in any shape, form, or manner right now.
No, definitely not. Michael, good evening, Michael. And he says,
Michael.
I see Sally is blaming Tim for everything, thrown him under the bus. So no doubt Tim will go to Arsenal with Kudus in January. So that's Michael's.
Is he Michael? Is he blaming him? I haven't seen any reports that he's blaming him. That was just me off my own head. Is he actually blaming him?
Evening, Steve. He says, "What's Des Lynham doing on here?" We get all the top guests on the Boleyn Lounge, Steve.
Yeah. So it's not on my early doors football TV at all. It's actually,
Evening, Ross.
Yeah.
Michael.
Ross. Big up the caterpillar.
Evening. Well, has he been blaming him in media then? Going back to the earlier comment.
The trouble is, they all do their little releases through who they do. I mean, Sean's a bit of a mouthpiece for Sullivan, and then you got this one releasing through their social media contacts, and they're all just like rats in a sack. I said it earlier. It's like a pit of vipers in that boardroom. And I think Tim, whatever his credentials are, regards his role at West Ham, he definitely seems to be fitting in with, he's not come in and made us more professional, fix the leaks. He's happy to do his own leaking. That's how it appears to me. And I think some of that is what is so unhealthy about our club.
Yeah, I suppose when you work with someone like Sullivan, it must be hard to contain yourself because no doubt you know what you're looking for. But this chairman's going to either say, "Yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit, but I'm not going to give you what you want and what you want to like to bring in." We've seen that already with some of the stuff he wants to go for, and Sullivan's flatly rejected it.
How old is Sullivan?
He's knocking about 80 anyway.
83, I think he is. I think he's 83. Really? I think he's 83.
You think he'd want to?
You would, yeah.
You think he'd want to give it up?
Make West Ham great again, says, thanks for joining us, by the way. Says, we let Downs and JWP leave and brought in a downgrade in Soler and Rodriguez. It's interesting, that midfield. I can kind of see why they might have let JWP go if they were trying to. He's on big wages apparently, so if they were trying to free up some wages and offset something in an accounting way, I can see how that would make sense. I don't know why we would have sold Downs. We didn't make huge money off of Downs. We made what, £3 to £5 million profit off of him. Bring in Rodriguez, okay, on a free, but I don't know if he really does much more than a Downs could do. If you look at Rodriguez, he's supposed to be the backup to Alvarez for when Alvarez is suspended, or certain games where you need 2 DMs. Downs could do that role, couldn't he?
He's a lot quicker.
What confuses me is that we decided to let Downs go, keep Irving, who we signed for 1.4 million and reportedly could have sold for 14, 15 million to Celtic. There's a lot more profit in that than there is in the Downs sale, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you offload Irving for that money, keep Downs, and not bother with Rodriguez? So I think it's a fair point, and I don't know who's responsible for all of that. I mean, you look at Freddie Potts now, and you look at what his pre-season was like, and you look at our team now, and you think, well, he'd do a job in there, wouldn't he?
Well, they'll never let Freddie Potts go anyway.
Yeah, I know.
But,
So
yeah,
there's some questionable decisions. Whoever is responsible for that, whether that's Lopetegui,
Solo and
Steidten,
Rodriguez
or
are
a
both
combination of them.
well, one was a free and the other's on loan, isn't he? Solo's on loan, isn't he?
Soler's on loan, yeah.
The guys are saying Sullivan's 75. Obviously, he had an hard life then, really. But yeah, so apologies on the 83.
Yeah, but you'd think it was time for him to give it up.
He loves the pound and pence too much, Mick. That's the problem.
He says, he says he has more trust in Arteta. He's, the Arsenal guys have, I know, who go on your channel, have a real bee in their bonnet about Arteta, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael says Sullivan wants full control again of all departments of the club. Will be a big board fight soon also. Yeah, I don't know I don't know if Kretinsky wants to fight. I think he's happy with what he's doing. People have speculated whether he's going to increase his stake. Don't think he does.
He's
want to sell theirs.
He wants to buy the Royal Mail, doesn't he? Kretinsky. Yeah. That's his interest at the moment, and he's going to invest in redeveloping Sparta Prague's ground. So I can't see him up in any money.
He could sell his shares, he'd go, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, he'll make big profit out of what he bought them for. He'd be happy. He's a businessman. I don't think he's there for any love or ambition for West Ham either.
Regression.
Regression. Yeah, we are regressing at the moment. I don't think anyone could argue about it. Colin says, gents, this is the perfect time for us to get rid of this Spanish waiter. The longer he stays, the worse it will get. I see us being in the bottom 3, maybe even before Christmas. Please, needs gone now. I can see no point in the next 2. I can see no points in the next 2, right? And even if we got 1 point at the next 2, you'd say that was probably pretty unexpected for us. But what does that really do for it? It doesn't actually really do anything. No points, 1 point is like not really very different, in my view, between them 2 games. Well, 1 point, no, it would be a good return, really. But
Newcastle beat Forest there, didn't they? And we were shambled against Forest. So I know every game is different, but Newcastle are a steady side, so I can't. And any weaknesses that we've got, and there's plenty of them, they'll expose them.
Yeah, and then we've got Arsenal, and then we're away to Leicester and at home to Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we don't pick up points in those 2 games, We really are in trouble, right?
We're in trouble now, mate.
No, I agree. We're in trouble now. What I'm saying is, if we sort of say we're not got very high expectations and 1 point might be a decent return from the next two, we don't get points out the following two. Not only are we in trouble, we are bang in trouble by then.
We could be, but if you look at, I mean, the table's quite tight at the moment. You know, a couple of wins.
Even-
Hello, Joanne. A couple of wins in that, and all of a sudden, before you know it, it changes itself on its head.
And that's the flip side, isn't it? If we suddenly go unexpectedly win at Newcastle, lose narrowly to Arsenal, and win the following two.
See, that's
9 points. That's a different scenario. But
Yeah.
Who sees that?
But we're back. We're back. You know, the word regression's been used twice today already. Yeah, and there's the problem. I've always said as a West Ham fan, always, we're never going to win the league. Yeah, if we do, it'll be like a Leicester miracle, even though we're a much bigger club than Leicester. What I want to see is that when the so-called big teams, and we're a big team, and that's the bit that pisses me off. We're a big team, but when these so-called big teams particularly come to our home ground, yeah. Oh, we need to compete with them, and we should be in position at home to take them to the wire, have not beat them. But we're already saying, well, we're going to lose to Arsenal because they're Arsenal, and that's the bit that pisses me off. Yeah, we should be capable of not just playing against these teams, but competing and beating these teams. Not all the teams, but we should be beating the so-called Big Six. I mean, Tottenham have surprised me immensely in the last few weeks. So I thought they were a team going forward. They've dropped to 10th, but they're supposedly in the Big Six. Yeah, and they battered us. Yeah, and it was embarrassing. Yeah, not because it was Tottenham. It's just embarrassing that the way that we got beaten. So.
Yeah, the manner of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the problem. As West Ham fans, we don't expect a lot. Not really. Let's be honest. We love being in Europe. We won winning the Europa League. We came very close in the won the conference. We come very close in the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we was all excited about that. And the league was kind of secondary then, wasn't it? Because we were challenging for something. Yeah, but I can't bear this. Well, we're going to, and I get you, Jeff. You're right. At the moment, you're right, but we shouldn't be like that. We should, play in Newcastle, who, are still one of the top teams in the country. They may not be up there with the best, but they're still a top team. Yeah, and we should be going there thinking, yeah, we can have that. Yeah, and no one feels that, do we? We're all feeling the worst before we even get on the pitch. And that's the hard bit.
Yeah, but that's what our expectations are from the performances we've seen, right?
Mm-hmm. But if you went up there and put on a great performance and lost 2-1, you kind of take it because it's Newcastle away. But if you go up there and get battered 5 or 6-0, which is very possible the way we're playing right now, then it's like.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If the team plays well and get beat, at least you know they've given it a go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And you link up more with that. But at the moment, I mean, you're going to come to a comment that Yanar there. He summed it up in a nutshell. But when it's all going wrong, and the way it's being run at the moment, I think we're losing the faith. And the worst part about it, the board don't get this decision right, what they're going to do with this meeting. Then they're going to lose more of the fans' interest in the club. And I know we've looked to protest at some point, but surely if we start turning their backs because of the way this thing's going. We did it with Lou Makawi, and we managed to offload him quickly. We should be doing the same with this fellow and all. What
comes next, Tony? I just want to come to this comment, actually, before we go much further. Just say, make West Ham great again, says, Flawless, have you had your apology from everyone who doubted you? And obviously, anyone who knows Flawless and goes around different channels and chats will know Flawless has been pretty consistent in his opinion and his outlook on Lopetegui from the start. And some people didn't agree with him quite strongly at times. And now lots of people are starting to come around to his way of thinking a little bit more.
I never agreed with him on the basis that he didn't get a chance. So you have to give my comments to what you wish for. Yeah, I think Moyes' time was up. Yeah, that's naturally. Yeah, that happens. That happens at many football clubs. Your time naturally comes to an end. But from day one, if you've got a new manager, you've got to support him. Yeah, and that support now for me, I don't see anything that I can sit here and honestly say that I can support him anymore, because it's so poor, so poor.
Oh, and when he first came in, I said, the way I put it was, jury out for me. We've got to see what this man's going to do, because obviously what he did with Wolves, and obviously he's kind of Spain and the Barca job. For me, is always jury out, and yeah, it's definitely out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to see a way where he recovers it. Like, things have got to get better before they get worse sometimes. But we're definitely going through it's getting worse, but it's hard to see where and when it gets better. He looks way out of his depth.
Well, it summed it up with the Forest game, because when you think about it, it was the two goalkeepers as managers, and Nuno won it hands down. He got it completely correct, and Lopetegui got it completely wrong.
I think Nuno's a good manager, though, I have to say.
Oh, yeah.
If you put that another way, then if Nunes had come in instead of him, would the jury have been out on him coming in to us instead of Forest? I think it would have been. I don't think it would have been an appointment that West Ham fans would have gone, wow. So, again, he's the right fit for Forest right now.
Yeah, well, you got to think, when he first came in and that, it wasn't all rosy. It was close to the wire, and he managed to keep them up. And then this season, they've bought in some players, and the difference is they're actually playing for him. You can see that with the style of football they're playing.
But he was at Tottenham, right? And Tottenham weren't having him. So
well,
you know what I mean?
You got look, but you look at Tottenham, Mick. You got to think they did it with him. They did it with Conte. They did it with Mourinho. They didn't really back any of their managers really. With Nuno and that, I mean, it's like when you think about it, just seeing Potter's name there, going from Brighton to Chelsea, it just don't fit.
No, it don't fit.
Well, we're going to find out.
7-4 favourites.
Yeah, I checked from a couple of days ago. Last odds I saw, it was 6-4. Potter was
okay. So if he comes in, if it's a massive if, is that one that A, will make the fans happy, and B,
some of them maybe.
Well, it's only because he's on free, but
no, not Sullivan. It'll make some of the fans happy, maybe.
He's free, isn't he? So he's got to be a good choice, because you don't have to pay compensation. And to be fair, I wouldn't blame you for that. Why go and pay 10 or 20 million for someone if you're still taking a chance? But yeah, Potter's record at Brighton, outstanding, and where he was before that, was it a Swedish club or Norwegian club? Was outstanding. I don't think he had a hope in hell going to Chelsea. So
it aged the man, Mick. When you look at that, it aged him.
Yeah.
You see him in charge for that short period of time, and there, he looked 10 years older.
Because Frank Lampard, just changing subject there, Frank Lampard, when he went to, I think he went to Chelsea after Potter, didn't he? And I watched an interview with him after he left, and he said it was not the Chelsea he left. He said there's players there that don't want to work for a club, don't want to be at the club, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get players to give him 90 minutes on the pitch. Yeah, so he said, like, the club was in disarray. So I think Poch's done a good job there. And then he got sacked. Is Poch working, by the way?
He's the USA manager.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. I did read that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Can Potter be any worse? I doubt it.
No, I don't think Potter will be worse. He'll make us more solid.
Yeah, for a short term and that, I think it'll be the right fit for him, and probably, for the short period of time, a right fit for us, just to get some stability. But
division,
long term, no.
Yeah, is the vision.
On what basis would he not be long term?
I think it'll come down to the fan base more than anything else.
In what respect?
Because if you look at it, a lot of them at the moment are saying no, and they've been quite vocal on that.
Oh, they're just saying no now.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, there's not. Where
teams don't score goals, do they? That's my kind of takeaway from Graham Potter.
Mm.
I think when you say they don't
play nice football up till the edge of the box, and then
but I think that's
run out of ideas.
I think if you looked at his stats when he was at Brighton, the chances they created was quite high, but their finishing was fucking awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's probably a bit to do with that, but I don't know.
Danny Welbeck's still at Brighton now, playing for another new manager, doing really well. So
yeah, it's a purple patch at the end of his career. Players get that.
Okay, but
he might score 12 goals.
An example.
He might score 12 goals before Christmas, and he might not score another one after. We've seen that with centre forwards. He gets a little knock and he's not the same. Yeah, you can pick out loads of players that have little purple patches, and then they don't. They just don't. You need consistency.
Colin saying, Mick, Fulkrug is a real clusterfuck of a signing. The only worthwhile signings for him, AWB, Kilman, Tadibo, Somerville, Guilherme, young talent. The rest can be gone for me.
Yeah, again, I totally agree with that. I think Somerville is only playing because obviously Kudus is injured. Yeah, I couldn't understand why he never started. I'm not going to comment on Guilherme because I don't know enough to talk about him. Yeah. And Tabido is doing okay. I don't think he's setting the world alight, but he's not letting himself down as badly as the others. But when you're playing in a team without confidence, a team without structure, team without belief, then players like him who like to hold on to the ball, come out of the back with it. He's not sure once he comes out what he's going to do with it because there's no one really wanting it. I'm sure he's going to be a top player, but again, he's not setting the world alight. But I think he's playing in a system and with players that he's not comfortable with. To be fair, as you see him when he's on the ball, he's got all the time in the world, but when he's looking around, he's not. I think he's used to playing with better players in better systems.
Yeah, no, I like the look of him. He is a bit of a risk taker, and he will get caught now and again.
Yeah,
it's just one of them things. I think when you've got players like that, if you take that completely out of their game,
I think that's probably more down to our midfield not supporting the back, the defense.
That's what I'm saying.
That's your problem.
Yeah, because they don't. When he comes out, if we're going the opposite ends of the stream here, but if a City or Liverpool player or an Arsenal player brings it out of the back, he's got three options at least, that he's comfortable giving the ball to. Where I just look at our midfield and they kind of don't want it. They don't want to be like they get it and they'll knock it back. They'll knock it sideways. We
constantly bypass it and nothing goes through there. Very rarely.
That's what I'm saying. But even when they do get it, it's not like there's a whole heap of confidence there. I think confidence is really low right now. Confidence is really low in the fans, in the team. God knows how Lockie feels.
Hammer and Smith says, thanks for joining us, by the way. Thought it's tomorrow, the big meeting. Well, the big meeting is on, off. No one knows if it really exists or not. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't just a standard board meeting that everyone has now said it's over Loppy's future, which they're now denying, saying, no, we're not having a meeting about that. Doesn't mean they're not having a meeting. It's probably just a standard sort of review meeting. Sharky says, evening, Des Lynham.
Evening.
So who's you could pick out all the great managers that are available. I've seen Ancelotti's name put about today. Why not?
Yeah, I've seen lots of things put about.
I mean, but in that's the problem. I know I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, Jeff, but I remember speaking a couple of weeks ago, having basically the same conversation. Who? If you were going to pick a manager that's available, yeah, or a manager you might want to pay a couple of million to get him out of his contract, who is it? Who is it going to be in realistic terms?
Right, go on, Tony. Far away.
I mean, for me, I'll take. I like Thomas Frank. I like what he does with these teams. I like the fact that he engages with the fans and gets them on board. So
9 million, no. 9 million to get him.
Pay it, as you said, 6 million to get rid of him, and 9 million to bring money in. Do it all day long.
Million.
Do it all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Accumulate to speculate, as I say. So if you look at something like that it'd be worth it. I mean, obviously they're talking about, obviously we've got Potter in the background. There's Terzic, as they're saying. I mean, even you see a lot of people saying at the moment Allegri as well.
Who?
Allegri. Would he come here?
Allegri. I'm trying to think who he managed.
Juventus.
Juventus. Yeah.
So here's my thing. Yeah. Here's my thing, right? Probably cost 6 million to get rid of Lopetegui. Probably cost 10 million to get rid of the rest of them, all of them, right? So there's 10 million. So 10 million for Frank. That's 20 million. Plus whatever for his coaching staff that he wants to bring. It's getting up there, right? We're getting up into Fulkrug territory here. And realistically, whether Sullivan should or not do that is a separate question to will he do it? And I don't see him doing it.
What's it worth to be in? What's it worth to be in the Premier League for a season now?
What in terms of relegation? Honestly, I don't know.
I'm saying if you're to be in the Premier League gets you 150 million payment out each year, something like that. All the TV rights and stuff.
I think it depends on I think it's where your position is in. I think.
Is it 100 million even? Say 100 million.
Just as probably a ballpark figure, 100 million, yeah.
100 million. So to go down doesn't make financial sense, does it? Not really.
Well, you've got your parachute payments. You're still going to get.
But you're not going to keep the players, then, are you? On a total rebuild?
No, possibly not. Depends if they realise if you sell them like we was all sold a dream when we moved to the London Stadium that we're going to compete and everything else. If you could do that with the players, then they'll stay on because if they believe in that, then full well if they're going to bring in the right players, then you can kickstart things on and you have a good campaign, and before you know it, you're back up in the Prem. And then you can go from there. But, we are talking about us after all. So we have to be a bit more realistic.
Straight away.
But he doesn't have to spend 27 million to not get relegated through getting rid of Loppe, because he doesn't have to go and get Thomas Frank, for example. He can still spend the 10 million it's going to cost him to get rid of Loppe and just get Graham Potter or Rafa Benitez or whoever else is available, right? And he doesn't have to pay 10 million to release them.
I don't think I could watch Rafa Benitez teams.
Okay, but you understand what I'm saying? We're talking about the scenario that he gets rid of Loppe and then pays for another manager. And I'm saying I don't see that happening. So.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yes. And to avoid what you're saying, he doesn't have to spend the extra 20 million, does he?
I agree.
Because there'll be other managers that can do a good enough job for his goals.
We don't want a good enough job, do we?
But that's not what we want. But
what I'm saying is we don't want a good enough job. We want a job where we can be proud of our team. Whether we're 4th or 12th. be proud of your team. And right now, there is no pride in our team. No pride in our club. There's no pride in the players. There doesn't seem to be any pride in the board. You know, that's the problem. Yeah, when I watch football, no matter who I watch a lot of football generally. I haven't watched a lot the last 2 weeks, just been busy. But when I watch football, when I watch the likes of Bournemouth playing, yeah, even Tottenham playing, yeah, when they're playing nice football, it's a joy to watch. Yeah, and that's what football should be. Yeah, and then you'll get your big games. You might get to a semi-final or final of a cup. You might push to get into Europe again. You know. But, you know, there's just no pride in the club. It's like no one wants to pull the shirt on and fucking die for it at the moment. And it's clear in every game that we play. Bowen should never be the captain. I said that 3-4 weeks ago, and that's really showing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's taken the shine off of his ability at the moment because he can't multitask in there. If you want
the pressure's too much for him. The pressure's too much for him. Yeah, it should have been given to Kilman. I said that from day one.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good chat from Michael there.
Do you agree with that comment, guys?
Yeah,
What's your
absolutely.
thoughts on that?
They're our future at the end of the day, so why not invest in them?
They are. Do you think they do a better job now if they play like next game?
They'll make mistakes, Jeff, because they're young, but they'll give you everything. We're not getting it.
I agree with that. They absolutely would give you everything.
And they've got pace. Yeah, there's a fucking lack of pace in the middle of the park that's fucking abundantly clear.
Don't argue against any of that. I just think it'd be a little bit unfair to throw the three of them in there and ask them to run the middle.
It's a way for them to mature, though, Jeff, as well. At the same time, this is a way of to do something like that. This is a way of them to grow.
Potts with Alvarez alongside him. I'm all up for that. Yeah.
I mean, look, them three there at the end of the day, and the difference being with them is that they love being at the club. They were actually, what Mick just said about putting the shirt on. Them three boys would love to do that.
Here's another question here. Why does Stuyton get such praise from a section of our supporters? What has he done to deserve such a messiah status? I ask the same question to myself often. I'm not anti-Stuyton in any way. I just think he's been brought in a wave of euphoria. He's been self-promoted through social media circles quite extensively. I think lots and lots of people have bought into it. And I'm not sure there's enough evidence to back up the heady heights that he's been promoted to. And goes much down like we were talking earlier about the transfer window. Let's see how these players perform. Well, we've got Stuyton now. Apparently the barriers to him have been removed, or now there's question marks whether they really have been removed. But this is his time to shine. This is let's see what job he does do then. Let's see what his worth is.
Well, his worth has been shown when he bought Falkirk at 27.5 million at his age.
That's a poor decision, right?
A hugely poor decision. Yeah, especially when you got a young centre forward there that's hungry to play. He could have played alongside Antonio and Bowen and grown his game. Yeah, the half hour, 40 minutes you get off of Mickey is still better than anyone else has given us at the moment.
I think you got to think when he came in, the difference between him and, say, for instance, when Rob Newman came in, because look what everyone said about Rob Newman. He was a coach for City. He was, he did this and the other. The scouting network was superb. We was all expecting something there, but then he was like pushed under the carpet. But with this guy, he's actually we've got the FA Cup to look forward to. With Stuyton, it's the fact of, as you said, I suppose he is kind of self-promoted, but full well when you see him on that jet plane, full well he's bringing the player back with him, and that in itself, whets the appetite, because if he's going to do that, business is being done, rightly or wrongly, with some of the players. That's for sure.
Yeah, he does. That is a fair comment. You do. If the bar is set, that's who we're having, and that's who we get. And that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Tadibo one. The Tadibo one. Mm-hmm. He wanted you. He all in Pete Tong. Before you know it, Jet jumped on that. Stuyton jumped on that plane, nabbed him, brought him back, and we are where we are with him now.
We definitely
I'm not
need more.
sure it was as simple as that, though, that he just jumped on and nabbed him. We'd kind of been chasing him to come, and he'd been kind of saying all the window, I don't really want to come to you. I want to go to Juventus, right? But we kept down at it. And then when it turns out that Juventus clearly couldn't raise the money that was needed to sign him, Tim jumped on a jet, and I guess Tadimo went, well, I'm either staying where I am or I'm going to West Ham, so West Ham it is then.
Well, he's better in the boot of a car, Jeff. I don't think he had any choice at that stage.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
take the old hood off. He's where the hell am I? You know, that was it.
Yeah, when he kidnapped him.
Yeah. Have we anything positive to say tonight, boys?
Here's a positive comment from me, Ross. So I think it's not positive from his perspective. He says, West Ham will get 3 points against Arsenal. That's how much faith I have in Arsenal at the minute.
I wonder what how at the minute, yeah.
Yeah. So make West Ham great again says we all wanted Moyes out, but didn't consider that things could get worse.
Yeah. Who knew that someone would come in more defensively minded than Moyes?
Well, that's the thing is that neither. Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, like defensively minded. Yeah, like we let in more goals than I care to remember last season. Yeah, and we're doing the same this year. So I'm not sure that he's actually more defensively minded. He's just as badly fucking organised. Yeah, and not getting the best out of the front players. You know, the ball should be up the other end. So you're not. You know, especially at home, the ball should be up the other end most of the time. You shouldn't be conceding these goals. You know, the players we got, the ball should be up the other end most of the time at home.
Well, you know, they are supposed to defend from the front, but then, you know, we are thinking of Antonio trying to hold the ball up, and we know.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. You buy Falkirk, and you know, there's a lot to be said for giving some of these youngsters a go.
Michael says next 4 games: lose 2-0, lose 3-0, draw 1-1, draw 2-2. Probably could be somewhere about right. Maybe we pick up a win out of those second 2. One of them perhaps might get 4 points instead of 2. I'm not that enthused about it or enthusiastic about West Ham at the moment. It's I'm kind of dreading the next 2 games, and hope I see something that brightens my day. You know, says evening, fellas. Is the R word again, Mick? I think we are regressing in every department at the moment. In the boardroom, on the pitch, behind the scenes, players' form, fan contentment, match day experience, the lot.
Sums it up.
Mic drop, end the show there, isn't it? You know, you can't add much to that. I think it's spot on. Steve's asking Ross about Arteta. That'd be interesting because I'm not sure where Ross stands on that, but I know a lot of the guys come on your channel are really hard on Arteta, aren't they?
Yeah, well, you got to think the money he's spent and nothing really shown for it.
Well,
so I can understand.
When Ten Hag's gone, 2 trophies in 2 years, and now Arteta's been there with his project for as long as he has, not returned anything really, has he? So he's starting to tell, I suppose.
He's
getting close in the league don't count.
Won the FA Cup.
One. Did he?
Yeah. That's when he first came in from a team that was someone else's team, you know. And then, of course, as it kind of got to be in his team, they've done nothing.
So Colin says, gents, believe it or not, people, I know the reason Guilherme was signed by Stuyton, because he was sure Amorim was signing. Only Sullivan had to agree after Stuyton set it up. And that's why he flew to meet him. I've kind of heard this story. There's one bit of it that don't quite add up for me. We announced at the end of May that Lopetegui was going to be our new manager. And start July the 1st. And we then signed Guilherme in the middle of June, like a couple of weeks after that. So by that time, even if that was the original plan, Steiten knew fine Amorim wasn't going to be our manager because it had already been announced that Lopetegui was. So there's a bit of a discrepancy in that story for me.
So changing, sorry, Jeff, go on.
Go on, carry on, mate.
Changing away from West Ham at the moment, yeah. So his name's popped up, Amorim, yeah. Another club in crisis, yeah. You know, just get away from West Ham because it's doing me head in. Do you think that he'll be able to turn United around because he's come with all the bells and whistles, but he's coming to a whole different level of football now, isn't he?
Well, you spoke about it before about managers, didn't you? Coming into dressing rooms, and dressing rooms have seen this manager and that manager off. And when you were talking about that, I just in the back of my mind, I was thinking, and that's what Amorim's going to face now going into Manchester United because they've seen a few managers off that dressing room. So it would be really interesting. I'm really interested to see how he gets
how
on
he
there.
reacts.
Yeah, I am.
His English isn't great either, apparently.
Yeah,
So that's going to be hard for him.
I'm intrigued about how Amorim does under all the fanfare of our interest in him, and what a great record he had at Sporting as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Not saying he's not a good manager, but it's the fit. It's always about the fit. Is he going to fit that whole? You know, for me, the biggest club in the world to go in there and like turn it on his head because that's what's expected of him. Nothing less. You know, and like there was articles today, particularly from former Man United players, saying he should have kept Rude. Well, I wouldn't keep anyone who wants my job, would you? But it's true, isn't it? I mean, the naivety of that is unbelievable from the likes of Les Ferdinand and co. Yeah, like Rude wants his job. I'd have rang him 2 weeks ago and said, mate, you don't even think about it. You're gone. You know, so I don't blame him. I think it's ruthless, it's stupid. There's fucking no way I go into a club with a fella there sitting waiting for me to fail. You know, so yeah.
Well, there's one for you then, Mick. Then would you take Van Nistelrooy?
Absolutely, 100% I would. Yeah, yeah. Why not?
Interesting.
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
We said it, didn't we? We're joking on the. We're joking before we come on air that he's having dinner with Sullivan tonight. But yeah. But yeah, why not? Like he's a winner. Yeah, and someone needs to instill winning mentality into us. Yeah,
definitely.
And that's where we are. 4 games with United, they won 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other one. So what's that at the bottom? When we went,
Chuck, it's strange we went from potentially signing Duran to eventually signing Fulkrug. The 2 forwards are completely different in style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And Make West Ham Great Again says, who is responsible for that?
Because when you think about it, was it £3 or £4 million difference if we signed him?
It's a bit different than that, but you know, it's been speculated if we didn't sign Guilherme and we didn't sign Fulkrug, we could have signed Duran, for example. And I'd still break it down. I still think we could have signed Guilherme. If he's the young prospect and we want to grab him and we don't want to miss the opportunity, it remains to be seen, right? This is yet to be proven. But if this is the case and we've gone out and we've invested that 25 million on the next big prospect that's going to be worth however much in a few years and gives whatever service he can to West Ham in the meantime, that's good business, right? And this is why we've got a guy like Tim Steiten. This is what he's supposed to be doing, identifying these talents, isn't it? He's not really supposed to be identifying the 30-something knock-around journeymen, right? Pay over the odds for like that. That's not a discovery, is it? So he could have saved the money there. I go back to Irving. He could have sold Irving for the 14, 15 million. Put them 2 together. There's your 40 odd million for Duran there. So either way you do it, there's a way to juggle the finances, isn't there?
Going back over the years, how many young kids have we signed that's been the next big prospect? And we haven't. The one that sticks out in my mind was a boy we bought from Celtic. He was scoring goals up in Scotland. He was 18, 19, and we never saw him. We only see him twice. Yeah, twice.
Yeah. Jetty, wasn't it?
What was his name?
A Jetty, was it?
No. It was a young kid. A Jetty was no, he was.
He come from Celtic, no? Or did he
Yeah,
go
young.
to Celtic? He
Yeah,
went to
he
Celtic.
was a young kid. I forget his name now. And like I was excited because I see him playing for Celtic like a couple of times. I thought,
Thanks,
wow.
Mama.
And then they said, "Oh, he's only 18. We'll stick him in the youth team." And like, stick him in the fucking first team. He's scoring goals in Scotland. Yeah, we never saw him again. A couple of substitute appearances in the League Cup game. He scored a couple of times as well.
Yeah,
but that is Orient. Let's be fair. Yeah, he had his time. He went to Leeds and done fuck all. Perkins.
Yeah.
Watch out, Beatles are back.
I hadn't read. I just clicked on that. I caught the unawares. Excellent. And Toha says
some others.
KWP and AWB were different right backs to be checking out Sharky. No idea what the thinking is, and that's true. When you look at the way he's trying to play Wan-Bissaka, although I think there was an air of frustration about Lopetegui. I seem to remember at the time when they were faffing about what right back to get and were they going to get Wan-Bissaka over the line or not. I think in the end, Lopetegui said, "I just don't care. Just get me a fucking right back." I seem to remember that at one stage. So I don't know.
It's a good signing, Wan-Bissaka, with the right manager.
I agree.
Yeah,
just played wrongly.
I think he's potentially the best signing we made in the summer.
No, I agree.
He knows the Premier League, and he knows the Premier League, and he's been good in the Premier League.
Yeah. That's for Arsenal, yeah. Is that Harry Potter?
Just clicking through some of these comments. Starting his head of recruitment. I think he's technical director. Is that head of recruitment? Who knows? I mean, they give all these titles out. No one really knows. I don't even really know what Noble's job is. I mean, there's some vicious rumours going out. That he puts the cones out. It's probably a bit harsh on him. I'm sure he does a bit more than that. But he's sporting director, and I don't really know what he does do.
What about him? Here you go. There's one outside the box. What about him coming in and working under Kevin Nolan? Right, West Ham through and through. Yeah, working with Nolan, knows the Premier League. He's been a manager. His heart's still in the club. Yeah, and get us back to being West Ham. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Well, I think there's something in it. We spoke about this last week, actually, and I said I think it's kind of a bit of a romantic solution. Nolan was part of the setup, but he was part of the setup that everyone criticised for conceding over 70 goals last year also. I do think Noble would be absolutely brilliant in a dressing room. He knows the football club.
Yeah.
He's only recently retired, but he's well respected by all of the players. I think he could offer a lot in the dressing room. But
Nolan wouldn't have much of a say in terms of who's playing and that kind of stuff and the system. He's just there coaching the system the boss wants. Yeah, which was Moyes at the time. Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at some of Moyes' assistants, you had Stuart Pearce, what was the ex-Rangers manager's name? Warburton. Yeah, he's had some big talent in there. Yeah, and Warburton left. He said, and Warburton was quite plain about it. I left because Moyes never listened. Yeah, simple as that. He said, no matter what I said, when I watched an interview of him, he said, I'm not slagging him off, but he said, you took, and he said, I left because he never took on board what the other coaches were saying. So who knows? Don't know if it's romantic. I just think it needs someone to go in there. A bit like what Van Nistelrooy's done at United and just gathered the club together. Yeah.
If he had that effect, it could only be positive. Yeah, that's true. Well, it certainly used to be the case anyway. No one who was West Ham was was plastic, wouldn't they? You know, why do you support West Ham used to be the question.
That's true, yeah.
All right, gents, I'm going to clock out. Yeah.
No worries,
All right,
Mick.
mate.
Thanks for joining me.
No
And
worries.
hopefully I'll see you next week, mate.
Yeah, be good. See you later, guys.
See you later, buddy.
See you
Cheers,
later,
mate.
See you later. Bye.
Ta-da.
So Colin says, who would be your ideal appointment you feel would turn the season round for us? If he was to be sacked soon. I've got a candidate I've liked for a while. If he was available, I would like to see him. I think he'd be a really good fit at West Ham. But I'll let you go first, Tony. Who would your ideal appointment be?
Like I said, for me, I've always said Thomas Frank. You know, I like him. I just like the style of him anyway. But if we get a big name, that's fair enough. But can he do anything with his team? I think a short-term fix. I know some people probably won't like it. We've seen some comments before about it. But Potter, just for the time being, just to help see us through as interim manager. I mean, there was that rumour of Frank Lampard Jr. coming, but nah, hell no.
If you was Graham Potter though, and Sullivan came to you and said, "Hey Graham, we're in a bit of a bind at the minute, and what I'd like you to do, I know I've slagged you off before and said I didn't think that you was that good, and it was just to do with the setup at Brighton and all that. But would you mind just coming in just on an interim basis till the end of the season, till I can find someone who I think is better than you? Do you think that would be a good recruitment sort of pitch?"
Well, you've definitely summed up Sullivan in a nutshell there, Jeff. That's for sure. You know, there's no two ways about it. I think if you look at it, if Potter can basically sell himself and prove that he can do something, then you never know. It could go on from that, from being an interim to being full time, especially if he can get the job done. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's just subbed up Sullivan. That's the problem you're probably going to have. Yeah.
For me, anyway, answering Colin's question, my ideal appointment, and I'm not suggesting he would take us on to necessarily great things, but I think we'd have a good ride, and I think he'd be a good fit. And I've been a long-term admirer of Eddie Howe, and if he was available, I think he would understand the fans. I think he'd understand the type of football that we want to see. I think he'd be quite happy to try and play that kind of football. And I'm sure we'd win our fair share and we'd lose our fair share. We'll probably be back to the West Ham that we all know, fell in love with, really.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Mama Flossie just jumped in her car. She knows where you live, Jeff, and she's on her way. So just be aware.
Well, I thought they were getting Mourinho and they were going to be really happy about that.
Well, yeah, because again, when you're looking for Newcastle, there is the rumour that Howe and he's unhappy with the board and that. So there's a bit of uncertainty there, but who knows?
For me, that would be for me, but I think it's unlikely. But your ideal appointment, that would be my ideal appointment. Steve says, "Can I understand the negativity around the place? We won the Betway Cup."
That's true.
With the players, Michael says, we have the players we have available. We should be a 4-2-3-1 counter-attack team.
At least. Yeah, I don't want that one.
And Eros is obviously chatting to usual and Steve, I think, about Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely
through.
Like us. They're missing a proper forward.
Yeah, but I think they are missing a proper forward. Havertz has done well for them up till now, but he's not really it's been a temporary answer rather than the answer, I think.
Yeah, no, true.
And Toa's answer to Colin is he thinks the best we could get is someone to be consistent and to consolidate.
Good comment.
Which might be the kind of manager that's coming for us, I think. If you look at the Terzic, Potter type characters, I think is going to be someone who will be consistent and probably consolidate and not be very exciting. Back to a Moyes style manager, perhaps. Perhaps I'm just doing Potter a bit of a disservice by putting him into that bracket, but he would definitely probably shore us up defensively. But like I say, I think his team struggle to score goals. Potter, I don't really want him. Let's see what make West Ham great again, says Colin. Can you elaborate on why you believe Guilherme had to be signed even though Amorim didn't sign? Okay. And Toa says Guilherme was Tim being a kiddie in a sweet shop on pocket money day. The thing is with Guilherme as well, if you look at it, he went out there twice, didn't he? We were going to sign a centre half when at Bruno, that fell through. Then we were going to sign Wesley Kosova, and that fell through. And eventually we came back with Guilherme. So unless there were multiple targets in Brazil, he
apparently
came back with his third choice.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, apparently there was a few targets they were looking at in Brazil, but yeah, there's only Guilherme.
Glad we've only got Soler, solar panel on loan, Steve says.
Yeah.
And lots of trips to Brazil, but only one signing. They cannot say, Michael says, they cannot say they're having a board meeting to decide Loppe's future or could be liable to being sued. Loppe would need to be there. If so, hence the backtracking on the meeting. Yeah, who knows with these slippery snakes? None of them are to be trusted. Do you guys think Frank would leave Brentford? I think he would. Now, whether he would leave Brentford right now to come to West Ham, don't know. I think that's debatable. But I think maybe next summer. Yeah,
possibly.
I think next summer.
It could be, if he wants to move on a level, don't get me wrong, he's done a great job at Brentford and, loyalty there, but someone, coming to someone like us now, it could be a good challenge for him.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. They'll all turn us down. We end up with 7th choice. This is the West Ham way. It seems to be the West Ham way. Bet wake up and all the way to the 3rd round of the League Cup, Steve O'Sharkey says. Yeah. Wurzl's in. Thanks for joining us, Wurzl. De Zerbi has fallen out with Marseille. Yeah, he has. And he'd be interesting. And he's got Premier League experience. And presumably, if he walks out on Marseille, he'd be available. Could be an interesting option that Sullivan could look at.
Yeah. 50 hours in the field. No, not at all.
Would we take Mikel Arteta? He would have come to West Ham anyway.
Yeah, the ego. He won't be able to get to the door.
Come to West Ham. Definitely not. We need a team that can speak understandable English for all. Yeah, well, half of our team don't speak great English, do they? We worry about our manager. He could probably communicate with half of them just as well as he can the other half in Spanish.
Yeah, could possibly do.
I think, we could even lose Bowen. I think out of them, if we were to be relegated, he's the most likely to be loyal for a season in the Championship. But
but we saw that with Glenn Johnson when we got relegated that time. We need to stick together, lads. Chelsea's called you up. What? And he was on a taxi before you knew it. He was gone.
Well, the thing is, if people come in, he'd go for big money, wouldn't he? So, could the club afford to turn it down? Is the thing. George says he wouldn't mind De Zerbi, and I can't say I'd be adverse to De Zerbi. He'd be an exciting of all the names that have been thrown out there as prospects. He would be the most exciting of the lot in comparison for me.
Yeah.
Tony wants President Fuzzy Rump at West Ham. He's been telling us.
Anthony. Yeah, I just read. Yeah, I read it earlier on.
Words and Pictures, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Has just had a listen
Evening.
to the grandstand theme tune. The nostalgia was uplifted. Another nod to you, Tony,
Yeah, absolutely.
and your fine moustache. West Ham are turning into new music, living by numbers.
Yeah, true.
Somerville's making an effort, definitely. Best player on Saturday by far. And it showed his commitment when he was the one making a goal-saving block.
Yeah. Yeah, run the length of the pitch virtually.
You ran the length
Cut
of the
it out.
pitch, yeah. Colin says, it's not helping Kilman and Tadibo when you have AWB and Emerson way up the field. Just don't need to have them in opposition half when we have wingers. I completely agree with that. They're asked to cover too much ground, pulled out wide when they don't need to be. We end up with 3-on-2s all of the time.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem is we have too many people.
Too many people.
In the boardroom.
Yeah. Well, no, I think all over, basically. With some of the new players.
Need to get back to the basics for sure.
Yeah.
I'll just knit through some of these comments, get down to the bottom. Well, I don't know if I'll get to the bottom. If people's posted, I don't know if you're in different chats, guys. Maybe it won't appear. I don't know if all of the chat appears in mine.
I think most, it seems to be most of them have been going in there. So I think it's just that one that disappeared.
Yeah, if I haven't displayed any comments, I apologise. I've tried to make sure I have done. Dan Paxton says, get Xavi in. I can't see that happening. Or nice thought, but he'd never work for Sullivan, would he?
Put out a reneg.
Fulkrug being slated all the time, I think is harsh, seeing as been injured. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen much out of him. What we have seen out of him wasn't too encouraging, although I'm not sure how fit he was at that time.
Yeah, that could be the telltale signs then, Jeff. You never know.
And then he's got injured. We don't actually know what he would or wouldn't do, what he could or couldn't offer to the team. But what we do know is that we're stuck with Antonio and Ings now as our only options.
And to be fair, well, you say that, but because when you think about it, Ings coming on has been impact, hasn't he? Really, he got the goal against for the penalty for Man United and that. And as you said on Saturday's game, he nearly. I just see that's a Reddit's comment there. He nearly got the winner on Saturday as well. Yeah, at least he had 2 attempts.
I agree. He's a better striker than Antonio, but I think lots of people think it should be the other way around. I think we're in really, really dire straits that our choices are Antonio and Ings.
Yeah.
And that the striker we signed to replace him happened to be Fulkrug, who's now injured.
Yeah,
but I think Antonio has to start. And I think Ings has to come on as a sub.
But we have the option if need be. When Kudus comes back from suspension, the only way you can look at it, between him and Somerville, they can either play out the left or you can even play him up top.
I'd like when Bowen and Kudus are available. I would not be adverse to seeing them up front as a 2.
At least that way, then still allows Somerville to be in the mix, and with them 2 as well, it gives just more of an attacking option, basically.
I like the idea of Kudus and Bowen as a 2, but I think if Antonio plays, it's got to be as a 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, Colin says, guys, would you take Conceição, Hunes, Nistelrooy, or De Zerbi? Do you want to take that on first, Tony?
I think I'll go in the order of maybe if you look at it, De Zerbi, Nistelrooy, I'll go in the other way around. De Zerbi, Nistelrooy, then 2 first of all, and then the others. But I think it'd be at Nistelrooy and De Zerbi because they've got experience in the Prem.
I really like Conceição. I think he'd be a really interesting prospect.
He's a good one as well.
Don't think he'd come to us, and I don't think Sullivan would employ him.
Mm.
Hunis, don't really know enough about him, if I'm perfectly honest. So I can't really make a comment about that. Van Nistelrooy, he's going to be out of a job soon, pretty sure.
Oh, he's left already, isn't he? So
Has he left already?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and he's an interesting prospect, right? I mean, he's not someone I'd say no to. If you look at what he'd done briefly at Manchester United, to what we've been exposed to over the last few months, I'd give him a chance in a heartbeat. And De Zerbi, I wouldn't say no to him at all either.
No.
Interesting prospect. Toa says he behaves on the music stuff here too. Toa, and usual, you can put your music stuff in here if you want to, guys. Some of it might go over my head, but you're quite welcome to have your music chats in the background. We're not that strict here. I think you're getting us mixed up with a different channel, guys.
Big up Brian CFC. Yes, yeah.
Lampard's getting the Coventry job, is he? I
didn't
know that.
Heavily, because 1 minute it talks about Roma, then suddenly this one come up and heavily sourced that he was going to be getting it. So it looks like it is that way.
Thanks for joining us, Luke. Mark Robbins is an interesting prospect. I don't think he would get the job at West Ham at all. I'm not even sure that I'm proposing him for it, but I think he'd done a terrific job at Coventry, and they played good football as well.
Yeah. No, he doesn't, Anthony. Yeah, he doesn't know what 11 he wants.
Would you be keeping an eye on the Aberdeen manager? I don't even know who the Aberdeen manager is, so that shows my ignorance, doesn't it? Do you know who he is, Tony?
No, I must admit, not that part of the world, no.
I will look into him now, though. Now you've said that, just to widen my horizons. Josh says, I've got a bigger issue with our star players that aren't injured and are playing every game and underperforming. Yeah.
I think with that, Josh, I think I've said it on my other shows. I don't think these players they're starting to give up on Lopetegui. They're just going through the normal routine. They're not kind of up in their game. I think we're starting to see signs of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're confused watching them, right? And they look confused on the pitch. And like I say, going back to things like not knowing who's taking a free kick and looking around at each other, like this shows me that like seems like a rot. Like it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And Luke said, I don't think we look fit enough. We were saying earlier, I was saying everything's at 2/3 speed.
It's funny though. When you look at it during the pre-season, they were praising Lopetegui's style of fitness levels, but obviously it's no use just doing it in the pre-season and then not do it afterwards, if that's the case. Yeah, that's true, Steve.
Yeah. See, only West Ham got to put a new manager who's worse than the last one, for fuck's sake.
The West Ham way.
The West Ham way, yeah. Luke says, our central midfield is so bad, our engine has gone. It is,
Absolutely.
I don't know what engine has gone. What was the engine before? Well, Declan Rice, if that's what you're talking about, because
he was the glue, wasn't he, really, I suppose? We've got two Wurzels yet. You've got Anthony Herbert and you've got Wurzel Herbert.
Carry on, Tony, because I'm just trying to catch up down the chat here.
No worries. They're going on the chat. Yeah.
Arteta sucks. I can't. I've got a couple of Arsenal mates, and they're not on the Arteta's rubbish bandwagon. So there seems to be a split in the Arsenal fan base over that. And I know the guys that come on your channel are firmly critical of Arteta, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, please not, Steve.
Be careful what you wish for.
No, he did say he's going to give it a season. He's give it a miss for a season.
Sullivan would love to have Ten Hag as a manager. Do you know the thing is with Ten Hag? You look at him, what he did at Ajax that got him the Man United job, and you can understand why they would recruit him
Mm.
and they would want him. And then you look at what he's done at Man United, and he's recreated nothing like it. He's even brought a lot of the players that he's familiar with, and he can't get Man United playing like that at all. And
Different levels, though, isn't it? I mean, the Ajax League to the Premier is completely, there's no comparison, really.
but his style of football is nowhere near.
No, but then you've got
So what happened to his philosophy?
There's too many individuals in that Man United team. That's the problem.
Yeah, for sure. Amarin's gonna. We spoke about it, and Amarin is going to come and have to deal with that now. And like I say, I'm intrigued as to how he gets on there. And he may be a huge success, and we might all be cursing Sullivan for not getting him when possibly he could. I'm skipping through these guys. I'm sorry. I think you're just chatting between yourselves, though.
Yeah, there's a picture of Mama Dawes on there. You'll see some of the characters that someone puts in the chat. I mean, they're brilliant. Whoever does it is really brilliant.
See, I've got 10 ideal
yeah.
Sullivan targets, and that goes for Potter as well. Players earn way more than managers, coaches, so they know it will not be them that gets sacked if things don't work. That's very true, Michael.
Yeah, problem always.
And Trod says one of the ITKs said we
spent like a quarter of that up front.
Quarter of what? Sorry, I must have missed something.
Yeah, I've seen it, Mama. 75% of add-ons for Guilherme as well. Wow.
Oh, okay. So Guilherme, okay.
Evening, Arsenal Manic.
Oh, evening, Arsenal Manic. Thanks for joining us. Oh, Overflex is the. I still don't know anything about him, Tam, but I will look into him. I take it he's doing well up in Aberdeen, or is that complete tongue-in-cheek? They're doing well, aren't they, Aberdeen? I think.
Yeah, they are.
Colin says, Jeff, when Stighton spoke with Amarim and people have told me Guilherme was one of the players that he liked, my sources tell me, just need to tell you I have friends work for the club and in the press. And I get that, Colin. And I'm not questioning any information you put in there. I'm just saying what was out there. I looked at it earlier because I've seen the story regarding Stighton, the Amarim and Guilherme thing. So I actually made a point of looking up when Lopetegui was announced to be the West Ham manager, when Guilherme was signed. So that's how I was kind of across that. So it may be that he wanted to line him up for Amarim. All I'm saying is when he actually signed him, Lopetegui had already been announced. So
yeah.
I don't know. But Colin, you may well be privy to much more highbrow information than I am. I'm sure you are. I don't. I'm an NITK, not in the know.
Evening,
Wazzy. And Trod says they're saving up for an iPad replacement that Nolan left.
Brilliant.
And he says, I know the guy at the bottom, did he used to host TFI Friday on...
That was for Mick. That was Mick.
For Mick, yeah. I'll tell him. So Arsenal Manic says he can't quite work out if Tony looks like Biker from Charles, from Village People, or Charles Bronson. Either way, it's feature. Not quite as legendary as Des Lynam, but...
No. Well, I'll break out in the YMCA in a minute. Don't worry about that. I'll be fine.
Michelangelo says up the art.
Yeah, definitely Sharky.
Sharky says Thomas Frank would be a good choice of manager. He obviously agrees with you. I don't think he would be a bad choice either, by the way. I just think it gets really expensive for Sullivan to sack Lopetegui and then recruit Thomas Frank as well.
Evening, Timmy.
Guys, just evening, Timmy. I'll just flip
Eddie
through
is a Geordie. Yeah, Eddie Howe's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Ian says, I'd like a manager that the majority of the fan base can get behind. I'm sick of the division between us all. I agree, Hal could fit. I also take Frank,
Yeah.
but my ideal deal would be Silver.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be fair with you, Ian. Like I said, in an ideal world, I think Hal would be a really good fit. I'm glad you agree with me. I think there'd be at least a good proportion of fans who would be happy enough with Hal. I happen to agree. I'd take Frank, and I think there'd be a good portion of fans that would be happy to see Thomas Frank as manager. And I think that equally applies to Silver. I think people would be happy to see him, and he's a good coach. Football Dad's Army, big up Tony
Big up,
and
Lee.
panel. Thanks for joining us. And Colin says you can forget Potter. As far as I know, he wouldn't be interested in the job. And for me, that's music to my ears. Really, he wouldn't be my preferred choice. Timmy says Mancini's available.
Yeah.
Sharky says Marco Silva's a decent shout. I don't disagree. I don't know what it would cost to get him out of Fulham. I would imagine that would be the barrier. I believe he was keen to come to West Ham previously.
There was, yeah. I did see an article the other day, and it reckons that he would, if the opportunity would come along with it, he would jump at the chance and come. But again, paper talk. We'll see.
Proper forward. Michelangelo says Hammers hadn't had a proper forward for years. And Steve says last one was Hartson.
Well,
Dean Ashton.
Dean Ashton would have been the one.
Yeah,
He would have been a legend.
Oh, now Arnautovic.
Arnautovic, but I think if you look at it for a proper number 9 on that, Lopetegui does. I think if you look at it for, would have been Dean Ashton. I think he would have been a legend. They're all coming to the chat tonight, yeah.
I'm struggling to keep up. I'm not used to all these people in here, but thanks for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, please do so.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you haven't subscribed to Tony, which I'm sure you have, please do that as well. Michael says, problem is Loppy was given a 2-year contract. That shows no ambition for a project. Okay, well, he was given, I kind of agree, it's not a long contract. But Amarin's given 2.5 years with a year extension. So he's been given 6 months longer than Lopetegui on his contract, really. So, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, Mbumo as a strike. I think he's a super player, that Mbumo. So effective.
And that Whistler as well, take him all.
Early Donald Trump football said, God bless my fellow West Hammers.
Evening,
Henry Ray Baker, evening Tony, Boleyn Lounge, evening Henry. Thanks for joining us.
I did see Arsenal Manic saying that I look like the English Tom Selleck.
Oh, you're the English Tom Selleck, yeah.
Magnum, yeah. Got me Ferrari outside at the moment, funny enough.
And
hello.
I'll try and catch up here. Shearer will be available in 2026.
Well, maybe you never know. Gary Lineker could have been.
Gary Lineker, yeah.
Be the West Ham manager. You never know.
Colin says Stighton also went to look into a manager at Palmeiras, Abel Ferreira, Portuguese, very good coach, plays nice football. Also did when back in Portugal, good record. I think I did hear something fleetingly about that as well. I don't know, can't remember where that was. But I take it he's not in the cards now. Colin, you have to let us know. Is he on the current shortlist, or has he been scratched off now?
There is
the English Tom Selleck. There you are, Tony. Arsenal mate said, "This is how crap following Arsenal is these days. Tony's tash is more interesting subject."
It is self-groomed. It's self-groomed. Yes. Yeah. Oh, look at that one, Jeff. You see that one? Go back to that one, Jeff. Look at the actual the picture. Look at the picture.
I can't see. Oh, I see it now. You got some jokers that come in your channel, in you, eh?
I tell you.
Okay, Michael says,
good shout,
how
Mike.
many of our squad would do well in a bleep test? I think there'd be a few of them that would struggle, actually.
Mm. I think the one that probably surprise you in that would actually be Antonio. I think he'll probably do the best.
Yeah, yeah, until he blows himself out. But Arsenal got the North London bug, empty trophy cabinets.
Lots of
A lot of dust floating around
North
North London. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, I see that, Mama. Brilliant.
Oh,
You're catching up now. You're catching up.
catching up. Okay.
Right on, Henry.
Danny Ings,
Absolutely.
West Ham's best striker according to early doors. Well, the thing is, Anthony, he actually is the best finisher at the club. He probably is the best natural number 9 at the club. But that's a sad thing to say.
Absolutely, Ian. Yeah, I think
Ian says, Ashton could have been a great,
such a promise when he came in, because I mean, like, he was consistent. He was strong. Yeah, well done, Ashley Cole.
And as Steve says, all these names bandied about, but who would want to work under the dwarf? And that's a part of the problem.
Yeah.
Not only would he recruit, who would want to work for him? And Andy says, no, Fuzzy had the best picture, early doors with a blonde wig. I didn't see that, so fabulous muffed ivory, Ross says. And Colin says, I only give out information from my friends in the press and my friends who work within the club. That is where I get my information. If I wanted, I could get information from Noble. No, the family. Okay, fair enough, Colin. I bow to your connections. I certainly don't have any connections like that whatsoever.
Nice, mate. That's good, though. What that? The man with the third eyebrow. Yeah.
The third eyebrow. You're getting some stick tonight, Tony.
That's fine, mate. I don't know if I can show up on here. I don't know if it'll come up on there, Jeff. Let's see where to get the camera. There you go. Look.
Arsenal Bennett says, you were so chuffed after the summer window. Top 4 was only a matter of time. Tongue in cheek. I was saying how jealous we are of you.
Yeah.
And you were smiling from ear to ear. Yeah, and I think the general reaction from most West Ham fans is we're pretty happy with the transfer window, maybe a bit disappointed about the striker overall, not diminishing Fulcrum, but just to say that at 31, to band up the 30-something front line, perhaps there were question marks over that. But other than that, most people were pretty buoyant about our transfer window. But the performances haven't really matched that, have they?
No. Cheers, Steve. Take it easy.
Night, Steve. Thanks for joining us, mate. And I'm going to try and catch up down to the bottom and probably call it a day there as well. Anything you want to add before we go, Tony? Do you want to give your... I know most of these guys are from your channel, but if you want to give your channel a plug for anyone who tunes in after, please do.
That's about right. Look, Arsenal, West Ham both failed to disappoint at different yardsticks. True.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on the money.
Appreciate it, Ross. Same with you,
yeah,
mate.
love Tony. Really, really good fella with great content.
Yeah, well, if you're free Thursday, Jeff, going to do a new show on that. I've asked Budgie in that, and it's going to be the West Ham review.
Okay, what time's that, mate?
8 o'clock, same like we're doing tonight, basically.
Okay, if I'm about, I'll try and jump on with you, bud.
I'll jump I'll send a link to you in there.
Yeah, do that, and if I'm about, I'll jump on.
No.
I don't know. These guys just
having a little chat.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up there. I've been on sort of hour and 40 minutes, Tony. So it's about enough for me for tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us in the chat. All the guys that came across from your channel. Thanks for coming in, guys. Hopefully you'll come back next week. And hopefully, if you're about, you'll come back next week.
Absolutely,
Tony.
yeah.
And
it's been
obviously,
good. It's been a while, like I said, Jeff, but it's been
Yeah.
good. It's been good, and obviously, as always, people in the chat make it also decent as well, don't they?
yeah, and thanks to the regular viewers who've been popping in and seeing us every week here as well. Really appreciate all of you. If you're not subscribed, please give us a sub. Help beat the numbers up, and give us a like as well. That would be really helpful. And until next week, thanks for watching. Come on, you irons. 1-0 to the goal.